It's time for Dodger Baseball.
What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show after your boys in blue get the largest comeback win of the season for the Dodgers. We have everything to break down. We're going to talk about this bullpen that stepped up, 5 scoreless. It wasn't always easy. Noah Syndergaard, he's been struggling of late. We're going to try to get to the bottom of that. Chris Taylor, all of a sudden, he's going on a streak. He's catching fire at the big go-ahead 3-run home run, and the youth movement is showing out for this team. Michael Busch, he makes his debut, and he made his presence felt. Michael Busch gets the base hit, the RBI single up the middle, draws a walk in this game. On the night, he goes 1 for 3 with the walk, but it was a big night for your Dodgers. Largest comeback win of the year. Dodgers trailed 7-2 heading into the top of the 5th inning, and I'm going to tell you how they came back in this one. But yeah, there we go. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, there we go. So, yeah, fly the jolly Dodger. Dodgers get the win today. Had a little technical difficulty at the beginning of this one, but, hey, we are here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show. And, as always, I'm looking for that Dodgers Nation fan comment of the night presented by our friends over at Hornitos. If I see that comment of the night here, we got a nice little bottle of tequila right here. I'm going to give you one of these.
You win.
If you give me a fire take, any hot take, a spicy hot take, you're going to see one of these.
Fire take.
You say anything a little sus, a little out of pocket, I'm going to give you one of these.
Bruh.
And I'm also looking for that Dodger dog of the game.
Dodger dog of the game.
But let's get into it. Jump into these comments. We're going to break it all down. We got Gary Glenn. Syndergaard is a great batting practice pitcher. That's from Kevin Uhas. Yeah, it was not a good night for Noah Syndergaard once again. And look, the issue with Syndergaard is he just does not have electric stuff. He was not missing bats at all tonight. Just 7 swings and misses for Thor. And if you look at his numbers, since his first start of the season, he just has not looked good. He's had a 8.55 ERA in his last 4 starts, had 6 hits in his last game, and he ends up giving up 6 hits in the first couple innings of this one. Tonight he goes just 4 innings, allows 7 runs, just had 2 strikeouts, so just wasn't getting very much swing and miss, was not getting ahead in the count, and you're seeing he's not confident in his stuff. And if you guys watched the preview show, I said my biggest disappointment of the season, I said it was going to be Noah Syndergaard. The reason being is I did not have any confidence that he was going to regain that velocity. There was no metrics that pointed to some positive regression. And look, I didn't say it was going to be a bust. I thought he would be serviceable and be an innings eater, and I still think he has the potential to be that. But any expectations of him making the All-Star team or being the Cy Young Award candidate, Noah Syndergaard, that was throwing triple-digit heat, I think that is not going to happen. He was terrific at times tonight. Shout out to my man, Mr. Clint Pasillas. We're talking about that over on Slack a few minutes ago. But yeah, 13 of 22 on first pitch, strike 7 swinging strikes on the night, just not getting it done, and just too many hits. Opponents are getting the bat on the ball against Noah Syndergaard. So we'll talk about that. Does this change your opinion of him? I mean, are we going to see Gavin Stone sooner because of it? I think all signs point to an earlier arrival of Gavin Stone due to the performance of Noah Syndergaard. But still, it's still early. I'm not saying they're going to DFA him, but he definitely needs to turn things around. I hope that he does that because he just did not look good tonight. He gave up 9 hits in 4 innings for Noah Syndergaard. But first, let me know where you represent Dodgers Nation from tonight. By the way, let me get your cities. Drop those down below. Where you repping, DN, and also who is your player of the game? Because you go a lot of different ways. I mean, of course, Chris Taylor, he hits the big go-ahead home run, but it wasn't just that. CT3 had his best game of the season, and this is who this guy is. He is streaky. He is a guy that when he finds a rhythm, when he gets his timing right, he can have 2, 3, 4 weeks, couple months at a time where he can catch fire and really produce. And tonight, hopefully, is the start of something for Chris Taylor. He's batting in the bottom of the order. He goes 3 for 4, had 3 RBI, and his home run there really put the Dodgers over the top, and they remain there for good. They win by a final score of 8-7, and they improved to 13-11 on the year. But we got hello D-Mac and Dodgers Nation. That's from Carnivorous Lunar Activity, repping from Houston, H-Town. Okay, we got Las Vegas. It's James Outman. That's from Charles Cabrera. That's your Dodger dog of the game because, yeah, James Outman, what more can you say about this guy? He is James Out him, the way he continues to perform, the way he continues to rake. And his hits, I mean, I thought at the end there, I was hoping for some insurance runs when he was able to get that double late there in the ninth inning. He doubled, set the Dodgers up with runners on first and second. On second and third with one out and Vargas at the plate, and unfortunately they weren't able to capitalize. But yeah, we're going to break down this whole game. Give me your player of the game. How did you feel about Michael Busch's debut? And I think this really presents the question that it could be Michael Busch season, because Michael Busch, you saw what he does and why he's such a talented hitter. He's not just your average minor league hitter that rakes and puts up big minor league numbers. No, you saw the plate discipline. How many times do you see him get deep into counts today? How many times did you see him where he was able to draw a walk? I mean, the 7-pitch walk he got, that really set things up there in the 8th inning after Vargas had the single. Busch drew that 1-out walk on 7 pitches, and then next batter, Chris Taylor, on a 2-0 pitch, he crushed that go-ahead 3-run home run to center, absolutely obliterated CT 3-run home run, and that really was the difference in tonight's game. And I thought, hey, after they had robbed Mookie Betts of a 3-run home run earlier in the game on a ball that would have been a home run in 27 out of 30 stadiums in Major League Baseball, hey, maybe you say, hey, this is not the Dodgers' night. But right, no, they have a winning road trip so far. They clinched a winning road trip, and things are starting to head in the right direction for this team. I am still concerned about the pitching at this point. I have some thoughts on Jason Hayward batting in the 3-hole, a guy who's batting below the Mendoza line in the 3-hole. I did not like that by Dave Roberts. I don't care that his BABIP is extremely low. I don't care that his predictive stats and his expected batting average definitely indicate that he should be performing better. And yes, he is hitting the ball hard, but still, a guy that's struggling that much at the plate, to have him in the 3-hole in this game, yes, I think it was an opportunity to build his confidence, but I think this lineup, you're not going to have Jason Hayward batting into the 3-hole anymore. Lesson learned. But Dodgers 316, that's from James Bostrom over on YouTube. I had a feeling they would come back tonight. That's from Deborah Young. I really hope CT3 gets back to normal like Muncy has. That's from BC. Yeah, I mean, 3 of the big questions heading into this season, at least 3 of some of the big questions, have already been answered. Is Max Muncy having a monster bounce back year? Absolutely. Is James Outman the real deal? Absolutely. Is Chris Taylor going to have a bounce back year? That is the big question. I think it's just one game. I mean, it takes more than one game to get into a slump, and it takes more than one game to get out of a slump. But still, you saw some positive signs from Chris Taylor, who was able to put together his best game of the season, has 3 hits and the go-ahead home run there. Go-ahead 3-run home run. We're also going to talk about the base stealing. I mean, come on now. Dodgers have allowed 29 stolen bases on the year. Teams are 9 of 9 against Noah Syndergaard. That definitely is something that needs to be addressed. They need to make an adjustment there because that just is not going to cut it. But, yeah, let's jump back into the comments section here, and then we're going to start breaking down this game. A win is a win. That's from James Bostrom over on YouTube. We got Michael, trade for Cedric Mullins at the trade down. That's from Michael. I actually have been working on a video that includes something on Cedric Mullins. Now, he's not a guy that's going to hit for power, but outfield-wise, defensively, he brings it. He is an above-average bat, and I think this team has enough sluggers at the moment that if you bring in a dynamic hitter that can get his bat on the ball, that he can provide value with attributes other than just being a guy that goes up there and goes deep, I definitely think it's interesting. And also, how about Andrew McCutchen, a guy that he hits that big 3-run shot tonight. He's had a great start to the season. Yes, it's a nice homecoming in Pittsburgh. Yes, they've gotten off to a really nice start. The surprise team in the National League. They're now 16-8. But if things fall apart, which they most likely will in Pittsburgh at some point throughout this season, hey, he's a guy on a $5 million expiring contract. He plays DH. He plays outfield. So he's been playing mainly DH with Pittsburgh, but he's another interesting name that kind of fits the mold of what the Dodgers look for at the trade deadline. Guys that are veterans, expiring contract guys. You don't have to commit long term that are having a good year. So that's another name to consider. But I love the idea of Cedric Mullins of the Baltimore Orioles. Is CT3 back, D-Mac, or is this just a tease? That is from Matthew Smith. Well, how about this? How about we watch this CT 3-run shot right now, because it was a thing of beauty, because he absolutely raked this. Here we actually start it over. There you go. Look at this shot by CT3. Throwing deep.
Puts the Dodgers in
2-0 count. I mean, that's the difference. I mean, he's getting himself into hitters' counts. You're seeing less hesitation. You're seeing him quicker to the baseball, and I think that is really the big key, because confidence is key for Chris Taylor, and when he's seeing balls in the zone that he knows he can get to, and he's able to time it up, he's such a strong guy. I mean, the bat speed, the bat to ball really takes care of itself, and when he goes up there and he's trying to slug, when he's trying to hit extra base hits, that's when he gets into trouble, because that is when he's pressing. But when he's relaxed at the plate, he has a rhythm, he knows good things are going to happen, you see results like you saw tonight. And I think the hits earlier in the game, I think that are what allowed him to hit that 3-run shot, because you saw the confidence start to build. Now, is he back? It's way too early to tell, because the reality with Chris Taylor is he has been swing and miss Chris. He has been Chris Taylor, KT3. I mean, he has been a strikeout machine, but things can change in a heartbeat. We saw that with Max Muncy. He's not a complete lost cause like a lot of Dodger fans lead you to believe. There is still something in there, and I think Chris Taylor is a guy who was a lot like Max Muncy, who was written off throughout his career and turned himself into an all-star player. So there are similarities there. So, yeah, I don't think he's completely back. I think you're going to need to see a few games, a few weeks of him just going up there and giving you positive at-bats. He's really struggled chasing pitches out of the zone, but if you look at Chris Taylor heading into this game, he was 5 for 45 on the year, and he has 3 hits tonight. So, yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy that 5 of his 8 hits are home runs on the season. You want to see a little more of a dynamic approach at the plate, getting those classic gap-to-back CT3 hits, base hit. But, yeah, I mean, if he can find a way to look like 2021 Chris Taylor in the first half of the season, 2017 Chris Taylor, that is going to lengthen this lineup, because he was batting at the bottom of that lineup right above Austin Barnes. So it's definitely a positive sign. I think he's close to really figuring things out. I wouldn't say he's completely turned the corner as of yet, because it is just one game. And we saw Trace Thompson have a 3-home run game, and he's fallen off a cliff ever since. So let's not get too excited. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. But still, this is a guy that he does have a track record of success in this league. And also, too, streaks are what he is. I mean, if you look at the back of his baseball card, he's a guy that puts up some pretty solid numbers, but he's very streaky. So you have to kind of live with that with Chris Taylor. You have to ride the hot streaks, and when he's cold, you just have to know that he's going to find a way to get himself out of it. But let's jump back in the comment section. We got Outman again. We got Barnes belongs in the barn. That's from B. Guzman. Yeah, look, the thing with Austin Barnes, and I get a lot of people asking me about Cartaya, who's gone off to a slow start down in AA Tulsa, about Fiducia, who's been absolutely fantastic, a guy who made that toe tap adjustment. He's been raking, but the reality with Austin Barnes is, at the very least, he is going to have a job as long as Clayton Kershaw is on this team. And that is just the reality. And also, Austin Barnes, he had a productive out. I mean, if it weren't for Austin Barnes, he was able to get that sacrifice fly that gave the Dodgers another run. So he wasn't completely lost. I mean, he's had some better games of late. And look, you have 9 hitters, you have a DH. You don't need Austin Barnes when he's catching to light the world on fire. You just need to give you quality at bats, go up there, work the count, get an occasional single, occasional double, occasional home run. I mean, he had a lot of power early on last season. That was the difference for his start, because last year he had a great start to the season. He was hitting dingers and got that extension. But, yeah, I think the key is he works with the pitching staff. Guys like him, he get that strike at the bottom of the zone. And the reality is he's just not going anywhere. But let's jump into the comments. And I want your thoughts on Michael Busch, because that, to me, was the biggest takeaway of this game. Is Michael Busch the bat is translating. It is just one game, but you can see that he is going to be a competent, at the very least, big league hitter. I mean, his eye at the plate, I talked about last night on the show. You see the similarities with Max Muncy. I think Muncy, of course, is going to hit for more power, but Busch hit 32 bombs last year at the minor league level. He led the Dodgers in AAA with 32 dingers, and you see the plate discipline. You see his pitch recognition. He does not like to expand the plate, and he's got a sweet swing, gets his bat on the ball, and I think he's a guy that you have to find a way to get on this roster, and you have to find a way to give him some opportunities, because first at bat didn't look great. They gave him a heavy dose of breaking balls. 6 of the 7 pitches were breaking balls, and it's going to take a minute to adjust to hitting big league spin. Just ask Miguel Vargas, who's starting to turn it around. And the second at bat, grounds out, first pitch, a little aggressive during that at-bat. And then the third at-bat, that is really where it all came together for him. He hit that ground ball right up the middle, RBI single for Busch, thigh high, and it was just a great at-bat, and that is who he's been. I mean, last year at the minor league level, he saw almost 4 pitches per at-bat, so he's a guy that knows how to work the count and give you quality at-bats, and I think you saw that tonight. I think that is who he's going to be in this league. I mean, look, he's a first-round pick for the Dodgers. He played at North Carolina. He's an athlete. He played multiple sports. He played hockey. He played football. This is someone who has waited patiently for his opportunity, and I love Busch. Syndergaard is just unlucky. That's from Michael. I mean, if you look at Noah Syndergaard, is he unlucky? The thing about Noah is he is not doing a great job of missing bats. 7 missed bats tonight, only 2 strikeouts in 4 innings, and his stuff just is not electric. And like I said period point blank at the beginning of the season that any Dodger fan that was expecting Love and Thunder Thor, you weren't going to get that. You were most likely going to get something closer to Avengers Endgame Thor, when all the Avengers had PTSD about what happened to Thanos, and he kind of just dropped the ball. Now, I still think he is going to be serviceable. I think he can eat innings, but I said I don't expect him to be this year's Tyler Anderson, a guy that found a money pitch after he found the grip on that changeup, and he was able to ride that to an all-star appearance. You don't see nasty stuff from Syndergaard. I mean, the changeup, a few games back as the Diamondbacks against the Mets. I mean, his changeup, when he has it working, is definitely solid for sure. But I think with Syndergaard, he has to find a way to just get that command going. How about the fact that, look, I mean, some of the plays defensively that he made today, I mean, just kind of taking the wrong step to first base, allowing a runner to reach. Opponents are 9 for 9 on stolen bases against him on the year. That's absolutely unacceptable. I mean, you have to make that adjustment early on in the season, knowing that you have bigger bases, knowing you have those pizza boxes out there, knowing that you can only make 2 disengagements to first base, and it's harder to hold runners now, that opponents are going to be more aggressive, and clearly that was the Pirates' game plan, and it led to 3 runs tonight. It led to 3 runs for that Pirates team. So when you consider the fact that the stuff isn't as great, he's not holding runners, he's not missing bats, gave that home run tonight, the numbers speak for himself. I mean, like Bill Parcells said, you are what your numbers say you are, an 8.55 ERA in his last 4 starts. So, yeah, I still think that he's a guy that does not have to be a top 3 pitcher for the Dodgers. You're not expecting him to be an ace or anything like that. If he can give you 6 innings per start and give this team a chance to win, I would consider that a win for a guy that you sign on a 1-year, $13 million deal. But look, I mean, striking out less than 20% of the batters he's faced. The good thing is the walks haven't been an issue for him. But tonight, the command it was not there. And as far as his luck, I mean, his BABIP isn't out of whack. It's a 297 BABIP, close to league average. But, yeah, we'll break down the start. We're going to go pitch for pitch pretty soon. We must keep Michael Busch. That is from YouTube. We got Alexander Rose. I'm about 80% convinced that my kid's name's Outman or James. He's so good, and my Outman stock rises and rises. Yeah, there you go. That is our first Dodgers Nation comment of the night for the post-game show, presented by our good friends over at Hornitos. You can enjoy a nice sip of Hornitos on me. Please drink responsibly. So, yeah, I mean, this Hornitos goes super hard, Ben. Busch is the next Outman, hopefully BC. I don't know if I would go that far, but I'll be here. I got your back. But yeah, let's jump back into this game and really break this one down because a lot happened in tonight's game, and it was, to me, the top 3 win of the year for the Dodgers. So let's start with the Dodgers. Top of the first inning, 0-2 pitch, Mookie fouled to left for the first out, and then Freeman, he draws a 5-pitch walk, and then with Freddie at first and 1 out, Hayward reached on a catcher's interference on Hedges, and then 0-1 pitch to Vargas. He doubles to right to score Freeman and Hayward, giving the Dodgers an early 2-0 lead. LA strikes first blood, slider inner half, and you're seeing a aggressive approach for Vargas of late. Yes, the walks are still going to be there, but you can tell that the game plan has shifted for him, saying, hey, if there's a pitch that you can drive, I want to see you attack it, and you're starting to see a more aggressive Miggy Vargas is starting to pay off. So the Dodgers get 2 runs on a walk and a catcher's interference, and that big 2-out double by Miggy Vargas, that puts the Dodgers up 1-0 on 3 hits in that first inning. That puts the Dodgers up. But back to the comments section here. Cinder washed, almost effed it up. Yeah, look, the reality is it looked like the Dodgers were not going to come back on this game. I mean, a 7-2 lead. You got Syndergaard on the mound. You don't have too much confidence in this bullpen, but still, hey, give this team a lot of credit. They battled back, and they found a way to win this game. But 2 runs on 1 hit and 1 error for the Dodgers there. They take an early 2-0 lead, and then you jump to that bottom of the first inning. So Hayes lined to center for the first out. Marcano singled to right on a cutter out over the plate. And then Marcano stole second. Then on a 1-2 pitch, Thor punches out McCutchen for the second out. And then with a runner on first, Santana singled to center, scoring Marcano to make it 2-1. So you're seeing him struggle when he's falling behind in the count. And there's a perfect example. He fell behind in the count, 2-0. Changeup just did not have great depth. And they're able to get that single. They get their first run across, and it's 2-1. And then Sawinski, he reached on an infield single to third, and Santa makes it to second. And with runners on first and second, Joe lined to left for the third out. So they get 1 run on 3 hits, and yeah, I mean, it could have been worse after Santana was at second, runners on first and second. And what'd you see there? You saw a runner get on, a runner get over, and they bring him in. Marcano, he was going on, and they knew that he was going to steal. And then jumping to the bottom of the second, 2-2 pitch, Castro struck out looking for the first out, sinker bottom of the zone, and then a 2-2 pitch, Bay reached on an infield single, left that cutter up. And there's another example, too. Did not have his cutter tonight. Did not have great bite or feel for it. He was leaving it out over the plate. And also, give me your grade for Noah Syndergaard tonight. We got Jeff says 1 positive is that the Dodgers scored some runs without the long ball. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one value that these young hitters bring. James Outman, you saw him with those 2 doubles tonight. You saw Miguel Vargas with a double and a single. Michael Busch, he gets a single and a walk. So these younger guys, they're really complete hitters where they can leave the yard, but they can also get their bat on the baseball and make things happen the old-fashioned way. Thor gets a C. That's from B. Guzman. Thor gets a D-. That's from Jason over on YouTube. We got Don Kim. What up, D-Mac? Which is better entertainment, games like tonight or blowouts? That's a good question. For me, I have to go with the nail-biters, the close games, because I think it's great. For my favorite type of game is when you have that lead and you're holding on to a 7-5 lead, a 7-6 lead, a 5-4 lead, and you watch your bullpen just nails the entire way through. Your bullpen shut things down and put up zeros. I think that's very exciting. I think it's exciting to watch a pitcher's duel. A blowout is every nice, and it's very nice and satisfying every now and then. That's one of the great things about Major League Baseball is you have 162 games per year, so you get a variety of wins. And yeah, I mean, it was nice to see what the Dodgers did to the Cubs over the weekend, but I think too it is nice to have that high tension, have that high anxiety game where you're really watching pitch for pitch and you're on the edge of your seat. So, and from an entertainment standpoint, give me a close game every day. And we got Noah Cinderblock, that's from B. Guzman. We got Johnny Cage at D+. Games like tonight's for sure. But let me ask you guys, what do you guys like better? Do you like to see the Dodgers, the demolition Dodgers, blowing out teams like Game 3 of the NLCS where they just went crazy and had that absolute revenge win there and they put up 11 runs in the first inning? Do you like wins like that? I mean, they are satisfying and they are a sight to behold. And it's nice. Look, chicks dig the long ball for a reason, right? It's fun to watch guys guys live the yard and just bludgeon opponents, but I think close games are what I would choose. I mean, sometimes, yeah, it does force me to drink a lot of Hornitos tequila, but I still love it. But 10-0 is fun. That's from B. Guzman. I like games like tonight. That's from Deborah Young. But yeah, jumping back into this game. So the bottom of the second inning, you got a 2-1 game, and we are 2-2 pitch to Bay. He reached on an infield single, left that cutter up, and then what does Bay do? He takes off for second. It was the Pirates' second stolen base of the night, and the next batter, 1-2 to Hedge, he hits him. So Noah, the command was off. Anytime you're hitting batters, that's one sign is, are they hitting guys? And he hits him, and that gives the Pirates runners on first and second with 1 out, and the next batter, Brian Hayes, 1-2 count. He doubles to left to score Hedges and Bay to put the Pirates ahead 3-2. A changeup. Like I said, that pitch, he just did not have the feel for it, did not have the depth or command, and just wasn't setting up with fastball command either. So, yeah, I mean, to have that changeup be effective, you also have to have the command on your 2-seam. Mix in some 4-seam, but he just really didn't have his pitch mix tonight. So then next batter, he gets Marcano to fly out for the second out, and then he gets McCutchen to ground out for the third out. So they get 2 runs on 2 hits, that Bay infield single, then he steals second, eventually crosses home plate on that Hayes double. So first 2 innings of the game, you're seeing the same pattern, stealing bases early and then cashing in. And they know that you can run on Noah Syndergaard. It's no secret around Major League Baseball. Teams are going to continue to exploit that weakness all season long until you see a faster move to the plate. And you have to use those engagements if you're Thor, or else you're going to have runners in scoring position and you're going to make life that much more difficult for you. And then we jump to the bottom of the third. Much better inning for Syndergaard, really his best inning of the night, of course. He goes 1-2-3 on 9 pitches. He gets Santana to fly to left for the first out, gets Sawinski to ground to second for the second out, and then Joe lined to center for the third out. So 1-2-3 on 9 pitches. You saw the command was better. He was getting the soft contact, the quick outs, and you were hoping that you get some more innings like that to try to have him go into the 5th, 6th, or hey, maybe even the 7th inning if he really starts to dial in, but it didn't happen. Next inning, bottom of the 4th, Castro grounded to second for the first out, and then Bay hits an infield single. He grounds to Freddie, and then Thor, he takes a wrong step. He hesitated, and that allowed Bay to reach. So the fundamentals just aren't there. There's other things aside from his pitching ability that are causing him to not be effective out there. Bases being stolen on him, not doing the fundamentals, getting to first base. He took the wrong step, and that allowed Bay, who's a very quick runner, to reach base. And then what happens? Bay steals second, and then 2-2 count to Hedges. He singles to right to score Bay to make it 4-2 Pirates. And then Hayes singled to left, giving the Pirates runners on first and second with 1 out. And then Marcano, he flied to left for the second out. And with runners on first and second, 2 outs, McCutchen at the plate, 2-0 pitch, sinker, Kutch cranks a 3-run dong to make it 7-2 Pirates. So that really blew the doors off this game for Syndergaard. He's down 7-2. He gives up that bomb to McCutchen, and he comes back. He does get Santana to fly out for the third out, but that was it for Syndergaard. Like I said, a horrific outing for Mr. Syndergaard. Falling behind the count to Kutch 2-0. You're just seeing the same pattern. Falling behind hitters, base runners taking advantage, and them exploiting that weakness. So just didn't have great stuff for command tonight. But back to the comment section. Noah over the hill. That's from Daniel Buller. We got Syndergaard is Cinder Fart from DKM. I don't know about that. I'll give you a fire take on that one. Yeah, look, I mean, could Syndergaard be Syndergone at some point? We'll see. I do definitely think that this organization, they're not going to make any drastic moves or rash decisions when it comes to him. They gave him a $13 million deal in large part because they know that hopefully they can give them 130 plus innings. And if he's able to provide that, and let's say he hovers around 4 or 5 ERA after it balances out, you would feel okay about that. But still, these nights are very concerning when you're giving up home runs, when you're giving up extra base hits. And I'm sure that he's going to bounce back and have some nice starts. But, yeah, in the long run, I think it's going to be tough sledding. But here we go. Could Shelby Miller... I like this one. This is from Matador 64. Could Shelby Miller time be our closer? Hey, Shelby Miller is could he be our closer? We'll see. I mean, I think in the interim, Evan Phillips, he came back. He was fantastic. I mean, he made light work during his appearance. He goes 1, 2, 3, and he made things look easy. Evan Phillips, he got that strikeout to Hedges on 3 pitches, used that sweeper, and he fell behind to Marcano, but got Hayes to ground to first. Then Marcano, first pitch, used that cutter, soft contact. So this looked like the Evan Phillips that we saw last season, where you're getting soft contact with the cutter, you're getting big swing and miss with that sweeper, and he is their best high leverage reliever. And with that being the case, until you get Daniel Hudson back, which at the earliest is going to be on May 29th, Shelby Miller, he has swing and miss stuff. He does strike guys out, and he had a 1, 2, 3 bottom of the 9th inning. He got Santana to ground out on 2 pitches. He used that splitter, kind of top of the zone, kind of like there in the middle, but got the soft contact, got Sawinski to ground a second, and then he got Joe striking out looking on that 4-seam fastball. So the key to Miller's success is that 4-seam fastball command, and that's why they signed him, because if you looked at his numbers, yes, the FIP was high, the runs were high, but he struck out a ton of guys in his limited time last season, and that is what the Dodgers were looking for at this stage. They're looking for a guy that can miss bats, a guy that has that electricity to him, because you don't want to put the ball in play. You want to miss bats, and that's what you're looking for from a closer. And heading into tonight, he had 10 strikeouts in 10 innings. So that's a strikeout per inning. Got another strikeout tonight. Last season, he got 14 strikeouts in 7 innings with the Giants last season. So that's why they signed him. I mean, 18 strikeouts per 9. That's what is attractive to this team. Now, could he be the closer? I definitely think. I believe tonight was his 3rd save, or let's say, what was tonight? I think tonight he ends up. I think tonight was tonight's first save. Tonight was his first save. So Evan Phillips has 2 saves on the season. So could he be? I think he has the potential to be. Brusdar Gratterall, I like him as a setup guy. I like him as one of the high leverage guys with guys being out. Ferguson, we're going to talk about his appearance today. But yeah, I think Shelby Miller is definitely trending in the right direction. There's no question about that. Now, let's jump to we'll jump back into the comments section. We'll keep breaking this game down, because I want to talk to Michael Busch and give you my thoughts on him and what the Dodgers should do with him moving forward. And should he be a guy that they give an extended runway? Should they give him more opportunities to hit big league pitching and see if he can be another key contributor, to see if he can not give them what James Outman is giving them, because James Outman is the front runner for your National League MVP. He gets Chick-fil-A on Sundays, but let's see, we got Dodgers baby room. Oh, Dodgers baby room. Yeah, I mean, what was happening 40 weeks ago during All-Star Weekend? My goodness, man. Hey, got a bunch of Dodgers All-Star babies. But that walk from Busch was a pro at-bat. That's from Seth Gribble. Yeah, let's keep breaking down this game, and we're going to talk about Michael Busch, because I'm telling you, this kid, he's got it. He absolutely has it. I think that he's going to be a guy that is going to have a nice run. I think his bat to ball, his ability to hit for contact, hit for power, a combination of plate discipline and bringing that power, that bat speed, I think that's going to play up, and I think it's going to translate at this level. But let's talk about this Dodgers offense that was resilient. Like I said, largest comeback win of the season for your boys in blue. And let's talk about that top of the 5th inning. So top of the 5th inning, Chris Taylor gets a leadoff single to right. Then Barnes grounds to third for the first out. Then Betts grounded to the second. Then Betts grounded to first for the second out. And then Freddie Freeman, he reached on an infield single to short to score CT3 to make it 7-3, and after that, Hayward, he grounded to second for the third out. So the Dodgers pick up a run there on an infield single, but it was all sparked by Chris Taylor's leadoff single at the top of the inning, and they make it 7-3 at that point, and it was a nice way to bounce back from that 3-run shot that McCutchen had hit the previous inning, to just try to put some runs together, because you can't get them all back with one swing. You can't get it all back in most cases in one inning. So to kind of chip away there, I thought that was big, and it's nice to see Chris Taylor get some results. And then jump into the top of the 6th inning. What up, D-Mac? What up, Hugo Hernandez? We got David. Noah Syndergaard is a mistake. Send him to the AA minors. He is a major disappointment. Gary A. put Hayward in the Hanser Alberto role where he belongs. I don't know if he can dance like Hanser Alberto, but Dodgers try some birth control. You're going to get a bruh for that.
Bruh.
We got, they're all Dodger babies, all All-Star babies. Yay. Hey, man, just think, if all those guys have made the All-Star team, maybe they wouldn't be on paternity leave right now, but what a week for Max Muncy. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, he's having a baby. He's on paternity week. He's having his third kid. Of course, he already has a daughter. Madison Bumgarner are his kids right now, but that third kid, I mean, congratulations to Max Muncy. But Ferguson got out of a tight one. Deborah Young, yeah, we're going to get into that too. It was a tightrope act for Ferg, but hey, man, he had the stones to get out of that inning. Was still challenging hitters. I want to talk about that. Even Cody on paternity leave. That's from Seth Gribble over on YouTube. I don't know. Over on YouTube says this has been Thor for years. What were they thinking? Yeah, I don't look. I mean, it's going to be a work in progress. I mean, he was never going to be a guy that I think that just there was a lot of optimism, and sometimes optimism leads to delusion, and you think about what a player did and what he could be versus what he is at the present time and what he's capable at this stage of his career. What I said early in the season too was he needed to look at what Clayton Kershaw did. Clayton Kershaw, he's lost 6 miles per hour off his velocity, right? I mean, his velocity is actually trending in the right direction this year, but you're not seeing 95, 96. You're seeing a guy that said, look, I have to find another money pitch, and that pitch was the slider. He's throwing it more than his four-seam fastball, but the key to his success is the command. Syndergaard, he doesn't have that other pitch that he can trust each and every outing. Sometimes that changeup is on, sometimes it's not. Tonight it wasn't, and the cutter, it wasn't on either. So the two-seam fastball, when he's not commanding it, he just doesn't have that repertoire and that pitch mix that he can go to and trust in big spots. And yeah, I mean, that's what you're seeing with him. It's a lack of just consistency with his pitches. But here we go. L.A. babes aren't cheap. That's from Daniel Bowler. Yeah, trust me. DKM Dodgers better bring the cops to Bob Melvin's house. That's from you. There you go. You get a bro. But yeah, so top of the sixth inning, James Outman gets things kicked off with a leadoff double. And that was another theme tonight. The youth movement is here. The youth movement is real. Buy your tickets. And this game, you saw Miguel Vargas start innings with big hits. You saw James Outman get things going with big hits, and here was the case in the sixth inning. James Outman gets a ground rule double, and then Miguel Vargas, he walked, and that gives the Dodgers runners on first and second. And then Peralta, he fouled to third. He continues to struggle. Did make a really nice defensive play early in the game to get a run off the board for the Pirates. It would have been another run for the Pirates had he not made that catch earlier in the game. So give him credit for that. And defensively, he really has been outstanding. So I want to give David Peralta credit for that when he took away that hit and at least a run there early in this one. But yeah, that inning, top of the sixth, we got Vargas, he walks, and Peralta, he fouls to third for the first out. And with runners on first and second, 1-2 pitch, Michael Busch singles up the middle to score James Outman to make it 7-4, and it goes as his first big league hit. Welcome to the show, Mr. Michael Busch. They were looking for the ball. He had the big smile on his face. Let's take a look at that hit here. Michael Busch gets his first hit. Nice job.
With a rocket into center field.
And that's what he does. I mean, he goes with the pitch, hits it right up the middle, hit it to where it came from, and it's a little slider, kind of hung there, didn't really have that same bite and depth, and he just turns on it, stays back. Great piece of hitting right there, not trying to do too much, and give him a lot of credit. And what a special moment. And I like that story that Steven Nelson was given during the broadcast, where he talked about the relationship between him and James Outman. I talked to James Outman and Michael Busch during spring training, and Michael Busch talked about the bond that he has with this group and how it's so extra special that they're all getting their opportunities around the same time. When you talk about James Outman and Miguel Vargas, and then now Michael Busch, he comes up, and the guy that he gets his first RBI was none other than James Outman. Busch was talking to reporters, and they asked him about Outman, and he was jokingly saying, oh, is he doing anything right now? Just kind of being sarcastic. And then he would go on to say that he is the hardest worker that he's ever seen in James Outman. So I think it really points to the fact that this could be a core. I mean, you're talking about young, talented hitters that are under team control for a long, long time, that if they work out, if they hit on these, you're talking about the ability to have that depth at multiple positions, and you can go out and sign some pitchers. You can go out and add some more money to the pile for Shohei Ohtani. So that really is the key to the Dodgers' success, is can you hit on some of these guys? Everyone acts like, oh, this Dodger team, they go out there, the best team that money can buy. No, No, they're built, not bought. Corey Seager, Walker Buehler, Cody Bellinger, Will Smith, the list goes on and on. If you want to have a sustainable winner, you develop these guys in. Hey, that's how it is. I mean, you water the plants in the spring and they start to bloom there in the summertime. So I think Michael Busch is a guy that it's pretty undeniable at this point. I think he really deserves his opportunity. Now, one of my big concerns is they had him playing at third base because they knew that a paternity leave, that Max Muncy was ultimately going to have to be on the paternity list because his second child was on the way. So they were playing him at third base. Tonight, I love the fact they had him at DH, focusing on just being in the batter's box, trying to put together quality at bats, not focus on anything else. And I think that was a great move by Dave Roberts and company tonight. But moving forward, he hasn't played left field at all this season. Either has Miguel Vargas. So what do you do at second base? Miguel Vargas is turning things around. They have a lot invested in Miguel Vargas. They think he's going to be the guy. He's actually played pretty well at second base, above average defensively at second base. He's only getting better with the reps. It's just tough to find a spot for him. So I wish they had started him on the season playing some more left field, because then David Peralta's not playing well. I mean, why can't he have the left field rep? So he's an athlete. I think that when you look at the net benefits and the opportunity costs of what he can do at the plate versus if he does have issues in the outfield or finding a defensive position, I think you look at what is the biggest pro, and that is what he can do with the stick. So, yeah, that is the big concern. Thor for Mad Bum from B. Guzman. I mean, look, Mad Bum, he has been what his name suggests. He has been a bum this season. ERA over 10. The velocity is way down. The chase is way down. The walks, I mean, across the board, he's been pretty atrocious. But, yeah, and also he's another lefty. I don't want to go that route. I'm going to go down that road with Mad Bum. Some guys you just don't want to see. Look, to me, I just don't think he can help this team. I don't care it's the Dodgers and this and that, but the reality is he's just not a good pitcher at this point, and I'd rather see Gavin Stone get his opportunity. And Bobby Miller, he's making his first start this weekend. So, yeah, I think there's better pieces at the minor league level as far as their ceiling and what they can do. And these retreads and taking flyers on guys that at the very best, they're going to be average. I just don't see the reason for doing that. But let's go, Michael Busch. That's from Diane Schroeder. That's a comment of the night. It's a comment of the night brought to you by our friends over at Hornitos. I'm going to take a nice sip of Hornitos tequila for you. Please drink responsibly. King. But yeah, let's jump back into this one. So 6th inning, Michael Busch, like I said, he gets that base hit. And then Taylor singled to right. Busch advances to second. Vargas advances to third. And the next batter, 0-1 count to Barnes. He hits a sac fly to center to make it 7-5. So for the Barnesy haters, he gets a sac fly. We love a nice productive at bat. That makes it 7-5. Dodgers pull within 2. And then you got runners on first and second, and the top of the lineup, Mookie Betts at the plate. And then 3-2 count. 7th pitch of the at bat. It was a fantastic AB by Mookie. He hits one to left. It looked like it was gone, but Jack Sawinski, he robs Mookie of what would have been a go-ahead 3-run home run. Exit velocity 103.7 miles per hour off the bat. A 37-degree launch angle. 402 feet on a fly ball that would have been a home run in 27 of 30 ballparks around Major League Baseball, including Dodger Stadium. So that was a heartbreaker. That definitely was the rob job of the night. But don't worry, Chris Taylor, he got the Dodgers back. So we got the 3-run home run we needed later in this game. But let's jump to the top of. We have to talk about Victor Gonzalez, too, bottom of the 5th inning, 0-1 pitch. He was a little shaky. 0-1 pitch to Sawinski. He gave that double on a slider inside corner for a leadoff double. But then he bounced back. He bounced back and got Joe to ground his shortstop. A nice routine play throw there by Mookie Betts. Nice throw, stepped into it, made it look easy. And then Castro grounded to second. So Sawinski grounded to third for the second out. And then he struck out Bay on a slider to Sawinski for the third out. So nice to see that slider working, and that really is the key to his success, getting that slider low and away to lefties, finding a way to just be consistent out there. So I definitely think it was a step in the right direction for Vigon. And then bottom of the 8th inning. That is where things got dicey. Actually, let's talk about let's talk about the top of the 8th first, then we'll talk about that bottom of the 8th. So top of the 8th inning, Vargas singled to center, first pitch, sinker, bottom of the zone. He's been more aggressive. He's been more decisive. The bat speed is improving, and he gets a single to really set the table there. Then Peralta, he grounded into a fielder's choice, and then Michael Busch, he draws a 7-pitch walk. A 7-pitch walk in your big league debut. Hats off to Michael Busch. I think that was almost as impressive as the single that he hit earlier in the game, because he knows, I mean, at that point in the game, Dodgers are down 2, really only a couple opportunities left to try to get back in this one. And like you said earlier in the show, a big league at bat. And he starts up 2-0, and he fouls off a sinker low and away, and then 4th pitch of the bat, he takes a sinker away, and he's up 3-1. Then he fouls off a sinker low and away. Then he fouls off the 6th pitch of the at bat, and this was a difficult pitch. It was a sweeper, bottom of the zone, and the 7th pitch of the at bat, he lays off a 96-mile-per-hour sinker high and away, and then he draws that walk. Next batter, Austin Barnes, he strikes out on 3 pitches. Oh, and the next batter, Chris Taylor, 2-0 count. He hits the CT 3-run home run. That puts the Dodgers up 8-7. And like I said, when you're looking at Chris Taylor, is he chasing out of the zone? Is he getting ahead in counts and putting himself in hitters' counts? He did there, and he saw red. And he put a great swing on it. Inner half, belt high. You know Chris Taylor can turn on that. Loud contact. And he obliterated that one. So the Dodgers get 3 runs on 2 hits there in that top of the 8th inning. And then bottom of the 8th, you're fearing, hey, did the Dodgers give it right back? But before we get into that, let's do a couple more comments, and then we will head out. Outman is the man from Daniel Bowler. We got Elisha Jones, $36 million for 10 years. Freeman won't do that. You got this. CT3 saves the day. Yeah, there's a comment of the night. Brought to you by our friends over at Hornitos. This shot's for you. Please drink responsibly. We got whatever he wants. Outman for a leadoff hitter. I mean, look at the cleanup spot. He's slugging. He's a run producer. We got Just Bad him second. Trade for Tim Anderson, Lucas Giolito at the trade deadline for Michael. Look, I've kind of dove into that one. We'll see. I mean, at this point, I do think they definitely need another starter. Giolito's on an expiring contract. Tim Anderson has 1 more year of team control. We'll see how the Mookie Betts shortstop experiment goes. Dave Roberts said before the game that Will Smith and Miguel Rojas are going to be taking live ABs tomorrow. So I think the plan still is for Miguel Rojas to return and play that shortstop position, but he has been pretty atrocious out there with the stick. There's been a hole in his bat all season, so we'll see if he can get it going offensively, because how much longer can you justify having a 125, 100 hitter at the plate when you got Mookie Betts that we know is one of the better hitters in the game, and you really have a surplus of outfielders at this point, especially if you want to kind of consider having Michael Busch. I think one of the moves is you consider throwing Michael Busch at second and see if Miguel Vargas is up to playing left, because he actually has played it at the big league level. That's something you could consider as well. Hornitos is the deal. That's from Francisco Paco Santos GTS. Yeah, trade for Jack Flaherty. That's from Papas. Bring up Gavin Stone. That's from Alicia Jones. Fantastic at Pittsburgh. Thanks for a great channel. Thanks for rocking with us as always, Lance Jettings.
You win.
But talk about the bottom of the 8th, because I was a little... Hey, man, I was almost finished as Hornitos during that inning, the way that Ferguson had no command there. But, yeah, so Castro, he gets a leadoff single to right to start the inning. And then Bay, he bunts into a fielder's choice for the first out. And you had a little game stoppage there. Betts said he made an attempt to go to second, and then Jeff Nelson, the umpire, came to talk to Dave Roberts, and you can turn to your left. You just can't make a step or an indication that you're attempting to advance. If you look at it, it didn't seem like he did, but good play by Mookie Betts. And how about a guy who's new to that position, already looking for things like that? It tells you how mentally locked in he is, so that's a great sign. But Mookie, just to make that catch, I thought that was impressive and get that force out there. So next batter, he walks Mathias. So you got Bay at second, so runners at first and second. And then he struck out Hayes for the second out. And then he hit Marcano to load the bases for Andrew McCutchen. So bases loaded. You got Andrew McCutchen, the guy who hit a 3-run home run earlier in the game, a guy who was the Pittsburgh Pirates hero, won the MVP with that franchise, and he falls behind the count 3-1. On the 3-1, he gets Kutch to foul out a four-seamer on the hands. A great pitch there, and give Ferg a lot of credit to have the kahunas, to have the stones. You're down the count. You know that you are one pitch away from walking in the tying run to attack Kutch with that four-seam fastball in on the hands to get him to foul out. I was impressed. It definitely was a high-wire act, and he threw 25 pitches, and only 12 were for strikes, but he escapes that jam. And then we saw top of the ninth inning, Dodgers had an opportunity to add another run. You had the double by Outman, and you had the... Yeah, you had the. Thompson drew that one-out walk. Then, yeah. I mean, just yeah. Well, actually, let me go. The Dodgers are on fire. Dodgers are the Riders. The second Noah gets the mound, the game is over. That's from Daniel Bowler. Yeah, you guys are going hard on Noah Syndergaard. Do you guys think Noah Syndergaard will end the season with the Dodgers? Let me know down below. But here we go. We got. Yeah, so Freeman, he flied to center. Trace Thompson, he drew a one-out walk. Outman, he doubled to right. Then Vargas, with runners on second and third, he grounded to outfielder's choice at third. They get Thompson at home. And then next batter, Peralta, 0-1 pitch, he grounded to first. So there you have it. Dodgers get the big comeback win, trailing 7-2 in this one. They come all the way back, and LA gets the big win. But, yeah, thanks for rocking with us, guys. An exciting game in Pittsburgh. This Dodgers team, they're starting to gain some momentum. They're winning on the road. They're manufacturing runs other than the home run ball. Now, I know the home run was the big go-ahead 3-run shot by Chris Taylor tonight, but I think this youth movement is something that is sustainable. It is something that is real, not just this season, but for seasons to come. And I definitely think this team needs to find a way to get Michael Busch more opportunities, because we need that dynamic. We need these young up-and-coming hitters that can grow with this organization, that can provide that depth in the future. And you have to see what you have in these guys, because, look, at some point with Michael Busch, you got to play him or you got to trade him. And I think tonight was a great start to his big league career. I think that he's going to have that self-confidence saying, hey, I got a hit in the show. Let's go. Let's ride. And David Peralta, Jason Hayward, all these veterans that they signed, a lot of them are struggling. Trace Thompson, I mean, all three of those outfielders are struggling at the plate. So I think you got, if Rojas comes back and you don't want Mookie to risk injury, you throw Mookie back at right, or you keep him at shortstop and have Rojas and CT3 kind of mix things up there. And then I think you figure something out with Busch and Vargas with that left field spot if Peralta can't produce. So we'll see what the Dodgers do. Max Muncy, get back soon, because you're the best player in Major League Baseball as far as I'm concerned at this very second. 11 bombs. But, yeah, final thoughts, guys, and we're going to head out of this one. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, smash that like button. Let's do some final takes here. Dodgers rock from Daniel Bowler. Michael, which is why they need Mullins, Anderson, and Giolito. Yeah, you should stay tuned for my next trade video. I'm dropping that maybe Thursday or over the weekend. Taylor will step up, keep him, and will the crew. That's from Daniel. We got, hey, D-Mac, don't miss that super chat. I'm on my knees. DK, and my comments are a little messed up tonight. I'm actually reading them from the YouTube channel like you guys are. So I'm not sure where your super chat was, but DKM, you are the man. You get a fire take.
Fire take.
You get a comment of the night. And that is presented by our friends over at Hornitos. Delicious tequila. Please drink responsibly. This shot is for you. Legally, I can't drink during this show, so there's that. We got loss or wins, always bleeding blue. That's from Joe Mama. Alexander Rose. D-Mac and me, Outman. Stock have risen since 2022. We ain't selling. Yeah, you do not sell your Outman stock. It's like buying Apple stock in the 80s, okay? Keep that stock. Good seeing CT3 batting ninth. He'll get confidence. DKM with the fire emojis. But thanks for rocking with us, guys. As always, D-Mac, miss you, man. Glad you're back. Let's go. Yeah, Strider, hear you. How you doing, my man? Watch the show from the top. But thanks, guys. As always, remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. Enjoy the rest of your night. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.